Book report from our illustrious.
Uh, I don't have a lot to tell you, because I saw you last week, but the tractor is still waiting parts, so therefore everything's going together for a while. And
the seat, is the seat coming?
I have no idea if that's coming or not, because right this moment, there ain't no transmission parts yet.
Yeah.
They have, they know they have them. But apparently it takes at least 6 weeks for them to come in, and it seemed to me like they should have ordered them a long time.
Yeah.
But they did make them, they had a issue with changing hands,
Yeah,
and I guess the new guy didn't know that we'd already discussed the idea that it was gonna be a lot of money to fix it. And he didn't wanna fix it until he knew we understood something's on that, like a scratch. But anyway, and so he gotten straightened out, and he knows that we are not interested in waiting much longer. And tried to get a hold of Pike. Been trying to get a hold of him for a week now. Find out when that's gonna happen on the Stratford Road. But I guess I gotta call the main office, cause I can't seem to get him on the phone.
would have been nice to do it this week.
Yeah, well, next week is supposed to be another heat wave.
Oh, really?
Yeah, down this weekend, back up.
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
And so, and I told Pickett that when I got done with the things I was doing, we gave him a hand moving that stuff.
I saw him this morning, he said that he talked with it or something. And we're gonna get everybody over there and whack it out.
So, I don't know who we can actually get besides our own self, because,
Is this for Sam?
yeah. 'Cause he's a little picky on who he lets in there to do anything.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Because he'd had trouble with others before. So anyways,
Okay.
that's,
How much do we have to do?
how
How much sand to go?
2,000,
I think it's close to 2,000 yards.
that's what he said this morning. He thought.
And, so. We are using one of Thomas's tractors to, get them these leaves. And, we're closing in fast on our mud season material. But I still gotta put up a little pile of something to fix ruts around December. Because we've been a long time not, we've been a long time having that style weather, and I expect it again this year. So we gotta also put up a small pile of that.
This is stone from the bellows.
Yeah.
How much you gonna get for that? How much?
I think I probably get like 200 yards. Because I thought, I honestly was thinking about getting it from over to Tucker's, but I am using some of theirs to cover up some places where it's obvious we've got some mud issues every time it thaws out. But to use anything for winter material, their bigger stuff's got way too many daggers in it to try to think you're gonna put it out on frozen ground. I could see the headaches, and I don't really wanna get involved with that. And that belt covers what I've got. I moved them tree blocks today. I don't know what I'm supposed to really do with them things. They're as big as this table.
Oh, the ones up on his road.
Yeah. They're as big as this table, and so right this moment, they're sitting in the parking lot of the town forest. Personally, I think we probably could just let them up back somewhere and let them rot down.
They weren't any good for lumber, were they?
I learned a stick there that was good for anything, really.
Or do they start watering from the inside out, so they just get funky.
You know, lots of times you get the shakes in the bottom of the log, this went right straight through to the top. Each time he chopped it off, it was
Yeah,
still splitting open. Well, just wasn't nothing there to save. I was hoping it would be at least a few logs, cause we could use some hemlock,
Yeah.
saw it there, but, there was nothing.
I asked you about the new truck. The reason I asked you. I went by exit 18 and they had a green truck out there that was 2-wheel drive, but it was dark enough so I couldn't. See if that had anything extra.
Well, Timmy thought it was on the back, my truck, our truck was on the back of his truck. When, cause I asked him today, so he said, "Is your truck come in?" And, he said, cause my truck came in, meaning his, and he said, "I thought your truck was on the back of it, but if so, nobody's called me to tell me we have a truck down there."
Okay, well, it's probably somebody else's, I just. You know, single axle. Dark green. Cabin.
Yeah,
chassis,
and it
so-
will look a lot, even though it's 4-wheel drive, it will look like 2-wheel
Right,
drive.
right. So I said it was dark enough when I went by, so I couldn't tell what the front buttons looked like.
You thought you were really out of your area, if you went down there.
I was out of there.
I went all the way to Brookline, New Hampshire, I really was out of it.
Where is that?
Oh, it's about 30 miles from Boston.
Oh, right on the border.
Yeah.
Near Nashville, right from there.
Well, I was coming back from Sandwich, New Hampshire, which is
Oh,
a long ride for me.
Yeah, it's go fair?
Yeah.
Oh,
Your first place?
never been there.
Yeah,
That's a late there.
yes, that's one of the last ones, then.
So anyways, that's about all I have to offer tonight.
You didn't miss much.
Tractor getting closer to coming home?
No, I.
So then go back to.
I,
But
yeah,
when are they getting home?
I told the guy at night, I really need it. Because I need to be prepared for dragging these roads when they're muddy and, he said they were gonna now make it their top priority, but they had to have parts first. So, who knows?
Who knows?
Any sort of bridge stuff that has to be done or big culvert stuff before winter? Be in good shape.
I don't really believe we got a lot that, at least I can take care of. We got some out there that, as far as I'm concerned, at least Hal Bridge ought to have a piece of plywood put on the inside, so no kids can fall down through that hole. But, outside of that, it's all waiting for somebody to figure out how we're gonna process bidding it out.
Has anybody done anything about the end where the guardrail hooks on? On Hell Bridge?
No, yeah,
Can you call Mike and see why he hasn't done that yet?
Wasn't he gonna replace the boards too, the ones that you're talking about or no?
I heard he was going.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Seems like he could take one job at a time, and at least get one of the things done.
And then Flint Bridge, what were we?
Oh, Flint Bridge, we were gonna have,
That's good.
Daniels come in to fix the
But no,
banging. But then you have a grant for it, right?
That's
Deciding.
the plan,
Yeah.
is that, the Chris Bump's crew was gonna get a plan put together, and then we're gonna get some bids on fixing it.
The bump part of the siding,
The siding and the
the banging
the
part.
bang, this, and that. I don't know how bad the bang is anymore,
I didn't hear it when I went across.
but it's gonna be tricky no matter who tries to fix that bang, because the boards are all spring loaded.
Mm.
And it's gonna be tough to figure out how you're gonna stop that one. So, yeah.
What part of the Stratford Road is gonna get done?
No, I'm done.
What part of the Stratford Road is Pike gonna do?
That bridge,
Bridge,
Oh, just that.
just that right there is quite a chunk of change.
But is that part of the FEMA then reimbursement? Right, if you're gonna return it to the way it was, it used to be paid.
Far as I know, they accepted the bid, and that's all part of the payment when you get your check.
Okay.
I can check with her.
But that's how I understand it.
Yeah.
Because Mary Ann and I have talked about it, and she told me they accepted the bid for what it's gonna cost to do it, and that was put onto the price of the rig.
Yeah, good.
But that could change, I expect, you know, everything else has.
Do you wanna talk about dumping on County Road while we still have Rodney?
Sure, makes sense. We could lead right over into that.
Take it away.
Take it away. Well, I have been. So people for some time, I don't know how long, have been dumping in two places off County Road. One of them is at the turnaround right at the town line.
Mhm.
And then the other spot is, maybe a quarter mile this way, where it's really steep off the embankment.
Right, yeah,
So I've pulled everything out of there, including 100 or more used diapers, refrigerators, tires, screen doors.
Yeah.
All kinds of trash. I also pulled out,
Recent stuff,
huh?
Peter, recent stuff, like this last summer?
has it been ongoing, but it looks for years?
Some has been there for a year or more,
Yeah.
multiple years. Some stuff is freshly arrived.
Right,
Oh, like the mattress, yeah, the mattress was a new one. So anyway, I've hauled all of it out and disposed of it all,
Mhm.
except 3 barrels. Full of, I think, oil, not full, but with oil in them,
like 55-gallon barrels, big ones.
55-gallon drums,
Yeah.
maybe 5-10 gallons in each one.
Oh,
I think oil, but a little hard to tell,
Right.
water mixed in. I'd love to get help with that.
Mhm.
I'd love to have you guys make that stuff go away instead of me.
Is it on your
Like-
property?
Well, it's in the right of way, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah, I mean, I got everything else out, my expense, my time, which I'm happy to do, but,
would seem
I
like
quite
we-
frankly don't know what to do with the barrels. So
This down over the big steep bank, because I haven't seen them.
the barrels were just over the edge, at the turnaround. You have to go look
Oh,
over.
right at the town turnaround.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, that would explain why I ain't seen them.
where the mattress was, you probably saw the mattress
saw
there
the
for a while,
mattress,
yeah.
I did see that. I contemplated actually on picking that one up, but I wasn't there with the town truck, so I didn't get around to take care of it.
That's fine. Thank you.
Can you scoot up and get them drums off them?
I was trying to
Back
get that
over
to
or
take
something.
place, yeah.
Right, can you call Central Vermont Solid Waste Management and see if that's something they can take away too?
You think they're
Yeah,
on,
I haul them up, but I don't know what to do with them.
right,
Right,
Yeah, so if like we haul them to the garage, if they'll come grab them. or
right,
something.
yeah.
you think there needs to be a no dumping sign there?
Well, so that was the next question, is
I'll
whether
give you. a call.
anybody has any bright ideas, I mean, it's,
Just regular oil.
my guess is people who dump like
that.
that are gonna ignore a no dumping sign, but. Yeah, maybe it would help, I don't know.
Yeah.
I got this feeling it might be used
I
oil,
honestly don't know.
and they don't wanna use up the very bottom.
Should we put up a trail cam or something?
We do that too.
We could do it, we've
Oh, I
done
don't know if
other
I've done
places, adopt a, no dumping. Sign and, put the, dollar amount for being caught and that's that. Did that up on Sergeant, seems to be working,
Yeah, have you got any no dumping signs?
hey, no. We could come up with one.
You order the signs, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll leave that up to you.
Well, it sounds like Rodney's gonna order a couple signs.
Works for me.
Yeah.
It seems to work up there. I don't know if it will work out there where you're talking about. It's pretty hidden.
There's not much going on there. Yeah.
It's pretty easy to do something bad that nobody will ever know about.
Well, those barrels would be heavy though. So
I think I'll get 15. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably, I would guess 5 to 10 gallons of either one, they're not full.
I'm sort of thinking there might be some used oil for barrels. They don't want to use the really body for that barrel.
Right,
And if you get a little water in there.
Work good.
Yeah.
right, anything else, Peter?
That's it, thank you,
Well, I think it'll be taken care of.
appreciate it,
Thank you for alerting us.
welcome.
All right, if you're done, you're done. Oh, maybe you're not done.
I'm the thorn in your side.
You want to speak while Rodney's in?
Sure. Right, I looked at the minutes from last week and
It's Tom Wells.
first, Tom Wells, I'm having some issues on Goodwin Hill with Sean Inglesby. But I saw in the minutes, he said I cut 25 trees, and that's just a lie.
Mhm.
We didn't cut anywhere, we cut a couple trees, I don't know how many, it was nowhere near 25, I know that. Let's see, I don't know where we would have got them from,
Right,
and then if we pulled the stumps, there'd be a massive hole there, or if we left the stuff, that's a lie, and then he came out 2 days in a row when I was finishing up the road. And by finishing, I came to the town back in, I think it was around COVID. And I bought a piece out Goodwin Hill on the class 4, and I asked if I could fix up the class 4. And by fix up, I mean widen it a little bit to get equipment in and trucks. I plan to build, so cement truck, well truck, whatever. And he knew this was gonna take place. But once it started, yeah, not this past week, the week before, he just came out screaming and yelling at me. For quite a while. And I did take a picture of what I did. And I didn't go too much over than the equipment I needed to get in there. You know, to fix the road up, basically it has to be level for your concrete truck, they're not gonna come in there. They're gonna come in first in a pickup truck and say either yes or no, we'll give you concrete. And if the road is, I've been through before, if the road is, I call it, weeble wobble, they're not gonna come. And if there's any trees in the way, it's gonna take a $2,000 mirror off a truck, they're not gonna come. That's why we cut a few trees. And then, so I have a hammer on one of my excavators. I had to hit some of the ledge and. So he just, you know, came out multiple times. He also said that I took some stone walls out, which is another lie. Because, as a contractor in the state of Vermont, I know a stone wall, if it's a boundary, it's a legal boundary. And it's illegal to remove that boundary. So there's no way I would take a stone wall down. I can even show a couple stumps that if I pulled the stumps, the wall would have came with it. Then I was accused of, I'm doing the road because I like doing it. Which I had to stop and laugh at that one, but,
Does some of it have stone walls on either side? or-
yes, definitely. Yeah, and some are hard to see anymore. They've been gone for a long time, but. But putting 2 to 2, you know, you can figure it out. But, so. The road is wide enough. It'll eventually have to be touched up, of course, like any road, but. I'm not gonna hammer anymore or do anything else to upset the poor guy. So I just wanted you to hear that from me.
I hunted up there quite a lot. And, the only stone wall I know of up there is up around where Silly's owns some property or did own some property. And, that's the only stone wall that I know of ever existed up in there.
Yeah, I don't know why he would accuse me of something like that. It's cut and dry. Just go look. Same with the trees. I mean, it'd be obvious if we pulled some big trees out of there. If you know what you're looking for, you know there was a tree there or stump there. Especially on where it drops right off. But, I don't know, I haven't seen him since. I guess he came to your last meeting and you had a chat with him, so. I don't know.
He also said a lot of log trucks and coming in and out, right, didn't he?
That was
Throughout the year.
Three-
Couple
That
years
was
ago.
3 years ago. We logged it during COVID. I lost all my work that summer, so I had 2 guys. Well, I skidder and we logged it and that was it. Done logging 3 years ago. But, from what I see from this fellow, I don't know him well, but these are out and out lies. And I don't like that at all, especially putting it right in the minutes that I cut 25 trees and that is just not true.
So Rodney, you've looked at the road since then,
I looked at the road after you asked me to go look at it, and I could not see any proof of any stone walls being removed. I really didn't see more than maybe 3 trees that were actually cut. Didn't see where, well, you just saw a picture, I didn't see where any of that road was any wider than that machine when I was up there.
so to your,
To my opinion, you didn't get out of the right of way at all.
so it's done to your satisfaction?
I think it is.
Okay.
Some of it, I just mowed down the weeds and the berry bushes with the tracks, and I think. He thinks I did something there too, but all I had to do was drive over it.
Yeah.
Well, that heavy machine packed sides right back down where it belonged. I knew that a dump truck on those class 4 roads because they get right up there pretty high.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're okay.
Well, I'm sorry to bother everybody if he comes running down here and feeding you a bunch of lies.
Now, is water a problem on that road?
No, there was some water bars in it already. I don't know, you might have put them in, but I straightened a couple, so a water bar, when it's built properly, you just wanna go over it with both wheels at the same time and not this. So there's some good natural water bars, natural big stone. Now that road's solid even in the spring. Yeah, it's a good road, because that was part of the purchase of the property. Side with mountain gravel, 2,100 feet. Oh, you're a class 4 road.
You say you're gonna gravel?
No.
I thought you said no.
No. Well, I tried to explain that. I bought the property because it's out there a little bit. That's just what I like, peace and quiet, and I don't want a highway.
Rodney's up there hunting though.
Hmm?
Rodney's up there hunting though, is that bothering you?
No,
Okay.
they're Pudge. I scared the hell out of him when I bought it, I know that.
He goes a lot more than I do.
Yeah.
Cause to be honest with you, the only time I actually ever go is when he invites me to go out.
I think you did pretty good.
We don't go up that often, but, I do appreciate being able to.
Well, anybody's welcome to hunt on my land. Except for my one neighbor.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think now we're done with you. Unless you want to stay for the next one.
That's fine.
Policy.
Thank you, Rodney.
Maybe they want to talk about the line.
Well, yeah, I'll send them over
Is
there.
that it?
Yeah.
See you, John.
Bye, Rodney.
Bye-bye.
Come again. Yeah. Oh, my, we're ahead of schedule.
Yeah, you too.
See you, Rodney.
Because Mike led the meeting early. You keep
Very efficient.
We keep going then?
No.
All right, next item on the agenda is trails maintenance update. What do you look at?
You have, two things in your packet. This one's from
Things,
two pieces of paper
hit outs,
regarding the trail.
information.
Yes, one is from, John Bicknell, since he couldn't be here tonight. I think that you,
Is this the one he sent in the email to
that
us?
he emailed you, yep. And then the other one had a picture of a bridge. Maybe it's in the very back. I see it sticking from the top. Otherwise, right there,
Ah,
from Sean.
gotcha. All right,
Should this be?
Yeah.
it's on the back of the.
One from Bitmo. Right here.
I can give you this one.
Then
There you go.
the last,
This one here.
No,
Oh, there it is.
I'll take that 100. We talked to Jonathan, Devin, so it's keeping tabs on that for any one.
They did?
One nothing, yeah, yeah.
It's not by, I
No.
was expecting a bigger
Yeah.
spread than that. I'll have to tease him about
Yeah.
that.
All right, Woody, would you like to start?
Okay, so, we're going to have reports from each of the trail stewards tonight, so you have the one from Jonathan, I was gonna quickly. So he mentioned that he maintains a position of keeping that road closed. A prime example of what happens to a trail when it's not maintained. On the Monarch Hill side of the trail, it has become a stream bed and drainage ditch more than a trail. There's now a trunk of a tree currently being used as a barrier, which he feels is a good thing, given that it's closed. And needs significant material fill and excavation to make it usable again. I'm concerned that this trail in the current condition, even for walking, requires a path off trail. And on the Farnham side, it's much more stable, but requires mowing and bushwhacking during the summer months. Jonathan reached out to Sue Salter, is she?
Yep, she's on here.
So I don't know if Sue wants to give an update on the Falls Hill Trail.
Sue, are you there? She's not. Let's carry on, and if she comes along, maybe,
Oh,
oh,
there
there
she
she
is.
is. Hello, Sue. I think you're muted. Like,
That doesn't say she is.
maybe she's not talking.
We can't hear you, Sue. Maybe
That's
it's.
it.
I just wanted to talk maybe about the river thing for 2 seconds.
Okay, 2 seconds.
This thing, they want me to make whatever, okay, and there's no room, it's what, 10 feet of land? From the corner of the Fordway to the river,
Oh, yeah,
how you gonna make a slope and put all that down and plant trees and do all that? My question is, the town owns to the bottom of my field, correct?
I'm not sure.
Hold on, so I'm gonna see
You
if I
mow,
can
you
get you.
mow it, correct? Side on that form.
Okay.
I gotta know where the town road land, cause they own that. We went through that with the.
Try
lawyer.
now. Do you hear me now,
The
Sue?
town owns that land, it's not a right of way.
I can't, I still can't hear you.
So if you own it
Interesting.
there, you know where I can tell them how much land I.
Okay, we're looking into that. So you're making progress on Sue's voice?
We're not. I think it's on her end, it's not on our end.
She can hear you.
Move her
She can
to,
hear.
is there a waiting room set up on this?
There is.
if you move her to the waiting room and then bring her back in, sometimes that will.
All right, I'm gonna move you to a waiting room and then I'm gonna bring you back in from the waiting room, so
My experience. is
Please-
waiting, did you wait
please
long?
hold.
Nobody talks.
Yeah, nothing to do,
You know, you can't even have magazines anymore.
not anymore.
Okay,
Session if you're gonna sit there.
I'll add it, okay, Rudy, am I doing this right? No, I don't think so.
Here,
Anyways, do you want me to try to work on this and you guys, you can keep going?
Participants there. Pull that up.
Oh, she just got off anyways, so,
So maybe
yeah,
she's,
yeah, she might
if she
log
comes
back on.
back in, she might. get-
Yeah.
running over false.
Short cut.
Okay, so then, back until remains extremely that, given the last couple of summers, a lot of springs and seeps ran even through the driest part of the summer this year, so, portions of that are really wet. The lower section, that used to be a part of the snowmobile trail, has deteriorated as well. There's a culvert that's, come out of there. I don't know when that culvert came out. But there's a pretty good, gully starting to, appear in that lower section in what has been a good kind of hard packed, road in the past.
Do you think if a little bit of work was done, it would save it? I mean, could we do preventive maintenance?
I think so on that portion, and, I
Just for
don't know
last,
that Hawkins is gonna do anything on it, because I think he uses some of that section to access his sugar lines and
Yeah.
stuff. So, I don't know, and I would have to look if that's on John's property. I think that's below, so I think that's gotta be either Miller's or Bucky's
Right.
there.
I think the line runs right down.
But I remember, I've been going to the crossroad for my whole life. And I remember when I was a kid, especially if we'd have done something then to prevent it, it wouldn't be in the horrible condition it's in now. And it wouldn't have taken much either. So
Exactly.
maybe, but on Baptist Hill, we could do that.
Yeah, that lower section has been a particular concern to me, because that has been a decent section in the past. It has had gravel on it. It had a reasonable base on it. I was actually surprised to see that even start to show up.
I talked to Andy Rogers a couple of months ago about it, and he didn't express any particular concern. He just said if they get enough snow.
Right.
And they fill in all the gullies, and it's certainly an existing part of the snowmobile trail. I mean, it's not former, it's current.
Yeah, it's a snowmobile trail.
But for whatever reason, they haven't invested, I don't, well, if it's below the big culvert towards Bucky's, then it's not on my land, so, and I don't know what if anything the snowmobile trail has done, or what conversations they've had with Bucky about maintaining that.
Yeah,
I think above all, on our land, the trail's in good shape as far as I know.
But wet.
Wet by the culvert, you know.
Are you just doing that?
Thornton and I, from back to city again on Richard Road.
And so like in September, when it was certified, even then you're getting leakage and.
Even then, it was wet, yeah, and that's, you know, after last summer was a record. Like all summer, and it just. 8 of the 9 previous years had been a drought, 4 of them, I just feel like there was a lot of springs and seeps this year that didn't go away all this summer. So on the Orchard Road, I visited purposely in the driest portions of the summer, and the seep on that road was still wet. The ground firmed up somewhat, in the very driest portion of the summer that we had, but it was still somewhat soft as well. It looked like a horse had gone up through and had slipped a couple times, not badly, but had slipped. And there was some other tracks that were visible, and that was in the driest portion of the summer. So Sean Ogle from Upper Valley Trails Alliance got up there this weekend and took a quick look. He was not able, he emailed me this morning, was not able to do an actual report, but thought that the first drainage coming from your side could probably be spanned with a 16 to 20-foot bridge is the way they would typically deal with that. And they lay them on 6x6 pressure treated, just laid on the ground. And so they have not gone through a permitting process in those instances because they're not changing the topography at all. They're not introducing fill or anything, so.
And it looks, but in this picture, they're just a step up and you walk across and a step down.
So they have not done permitting by using 6x6 pressure treated, just laid on the ground. And the write-up mentions that it's rough cut on that decking, so it's not slippery. And seems to be pretty inexpensive and fairly durable. The second crossing is the one that I've been most concerned about, and he also agreed that it's more complicated. He thought another bridge like that would span the stream portion, but then mentions that above that, a more substantial wet area due to the current drainage situation, which right now is about 50 feet in length. He says you could improve that wet area below it with a substantial drain constructed to channel the water across the trail to the existing stream bed. And that's the part, to my mind, when I hear a substantial drain, I think there's a good chance you would need to be looking at permits. You're probably gonna be looking at more than 250 cubic feet.
And is he talking about like just digging a ditch or putting in a pipe or something?
He's not sure about that, so he says currently the water's running down the trail for about 50 to 100 feet. It would be useful to see the trail during the wettest times of the year, probably early spring, although that was not true last year, to get a full sense of how large this section is and if it can be mitigated with hand drainage or would need machine work. He mentioned some possibilities for the old roadbed, which would have to be much more substantial.
Right.
And I don't think, I personally wouldn't recommend that, but he gives some suggestions for what would be possible if that was needed to. I think he mostly wondered if that needed to happen. I think he would recommend not doing that and staying with the current location of it, which would be a much smaller wet area. So my recommendation at this time is that that trail should remain open to walking only until the wet areas can be mitigated. And I think this confirmed my inclination that it's actually more complicated than it appears at first to actually remedy that. He thought a bridge like these would probably be located to one side so that the road will still maintain equipment, other horses or whatever other uses might be happening on it. A 50-foot right of way with a bridge this size would probably have adequate room to one side to be able to locate that.
Quick question, Rudy. So that bridge, would that probably be to the left side as you travel from Langos over to Dodge?
that's probably what I would recommend, but. But I would, Sean suggests looking at that when the water is the highest. Were you in, when I was talking about that, Todd?
I just got here, but yeah.
So he said that, it would be useful to see the trail during the wettest times of year, early spring, although last summer that was midsummer. To see how large, to get a full sense of how large this section is, and if it can be mitigated with hand drainage work.
Right,
I think because the old roadbed comes down on that left-hand side, that could be problematic for placing the bridge on that side. So I would probably trust his judgment more than my own on what's possible in that situation or other. I feel like it's not my specialty to, that would be my concern on that left-hand side, that I think that actually is gonna drain, it does drain a fair amount of water when the water is running coming down the old roadbed, and it goes out to that side and into the, so the water currently enters the stream on both sides, one above the culvert and one below it. It kind of splits on both sides from that seat. So that's the tricky part of what needs to be addressed there.
And
sorry, Peter.
I was gonna say, the bridges. It seems the bridges just let people keep their boots dry when they're walking. That it doesn't address erosion. Ongoing washout, siltation downstream, et cetera. Is that right?
Correct.
So it seems that we're not. What problem are we solving with the bridges?
The
It
bridges
seems
would
like all these
mainly
things
be
are on a path to turn into
crossing,
crossroad.
yeah, it would mainly be crossing the stream.
So what you said
The
is,
stream comes above, there's probably a collapsed culvert underneath there.
Right, it's
And a lot of the
it's running
time-
across the road now, right, the stream, yeah. But that stream's gonna keep running across the road. It's gonna keep eating into it,
That's what the bridge would be, is crossing that.
right, so it provides access, but it doesn't address the ongoing
Correct.
erosion and degradation of the road.
Yes, and my concern is that currently that 50 or 100 feet is starting to cut more. So it's eroding.
Yeah, and from what I've seen, these accelerate very quickly and pretty soon you've got crossroad.
Yeah.
And we've got segments of class 4 road that are, going
Going.
on as well.
Right.
If you don't maintain them, you lose them, so.
do you have any idea if, for instance, we got a permit from the state to actually dig a ditch along the parallel to the road and then put in a culvert or something? It seems like if you get the water level down, it's gonna dry it up, the surface up anyway, and then we could actually control and have a bridge to get over the stream, but actually control the wetness, so then where people walk wouldn't be wet.
My concern in that location is, I think that is a seep of sorts, so I don't know that the water level is gonna drop that much.
Mhm.
I think the water comes to the surface in that area. And it has done that through the summer, even in the driest periods. It was not rain that was coming down there,
Right.
it was groundwater. So that's the part. Like I said, I'm not a trail builder, but what the Forest Service has often done in those kind of locations is to have a hardened water bar where you've got a log or something. And that has to be placed carefully. It's a bit counterintuitive where the proper placement is for that to operate properly, and it has to be at the right angle to the road in order to transport the water properly. So there's a bunch of people more familiar with that would know more about how to do that properly.
But Sean can get us on the road to making that determination.
Yeah, I think he would probably have a lot more familiarity.
Yeah.
With that stuff than I do.
And in terms of the permitting, does that have to wait until he has an actual proposal, or can we kick off the permitting process now?
I think in order to get a permit, we would have to have a plan that shows what you're asking to have permitted.
Does Sean and his organization, can they provide that for us?
I suspect they could, I don't think that, we could ask him, I'm not sure. I believe what we get for free is a consultation,
Right, I expect them fully to pay for something.
right? And I believe they do that.
Yeah.
And I think there's probably other people that, would be possibilities along those lines as well.
Well, just it sounds like there's a process we would have to go through, and we just need somehow to start that process.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
What the goal is, as I understand, is to get the water across the road in some durable way that will eliminate the ongoing erosion and the ongoing degradation.
Yeah,
Not-
my
not
feeling
just
is,
spanning the mess and let it keep being the mess.
and I suspect the permitting process takes that into account. If it's an improvement that's gonna actually address the erosion so that the erosion doesn't continue to happen.
Yeah.
You're much more likely to get a permit.
Yeah, I mean, that's an objective everybody wants, I think.
Yep.
Yes.
So I've been on that trail when it's been very wet, a wet year. And as you go towards the Dodge Farm after crossing the brook, the maximum that really wet area was just a little bit, maybe 100 to 125 feet. So with the bridge and under a permit, because we're clearly probably gonna go beyond the 250 square feet that triggers that. However, it's to the left or wherever it may be put, it would actually definitely prevent a lot of erosion for any type of use on it that stays on, we'll just call it a boardwalk. And I would think that would be a really positive thing for the public use of the trail.
That's my report on the Orchard Trail, and I don't know if Sue was able to get audio.
So the next step would be to ask the Trails Alliance if they could continue with the study and come up with a plan for that.
Sean was gonna write up more of a report. He just gave a quick thing for the meeting tonight. He said he would write up an actual report from what he saw there.
So maybe by the next select board meeting, we'll have a better idea of what.
Of what he saw and what he might recommend.
And also ask him, what he might recommend, but a proposal on what steps we need to take to get to where we want the end product to be. Just so we know, like, how many steps there are.
Has Tunbridge ever done anything like that? Worked with A&R, DEC on it.
On a permitted project like that, not to my knowledge, but we don't know, actually, now that I think about it, well, what-
So,
No, it's Marine McCall.
well, I've been dealing with the state on my covered barnyard, and it's amazing how many layers of bureaucracy there are, and all of a sudden somebody else will pop up and say, oh, you need this, or you need that, or. And the other day. I got an approval that I didn't know I needed to have. From this guy. I don't know.
Better than a rejection, they didn't know you needed that.
What department was that?
Yeah, the water guy, I can't think of his name, but the guy that Rodney deals with,
Jensen.
Jensen, yeah,
Yeah.
Scott Jensen, all of a
So that was
sudden.
Agency of Natural Resources.
Right,
Right.
all of a sudden,
Not ag.
yeah, you're good to go. Well, thank you,
Yeah.
Scott. So anyway, my point is that there might be 10 different things you need to deal with, not just 2 or something.
and I think that's probably the point that initiating the process. Now.
Right.
A lot of those steps.
It'd
It
be-
said also.
Did you try and get on there?
But it'd be nice to get through this before springtime, and so when spring arrives, then Sean could go and do his wet analysis and.
Yeah, I can check on that. The tricky part is. You mentioned applying for a permit. You need to know what you're applying for a permit for.
Okay,
So I think this is the priority, because that trail is the closest to being in great shape. What about Baptist Hill? What about Crossroad? We're just gonna let them go, or?
I don't know, what would you say, Rudy?
As I mentioned, that lower section of Baptist Hill is a concern to me,
Can you replace the culvert there?
I wondered about that. I
mean,
don't,
if
I don't
there's already
know
a
when it
culvert
was
there.
taken out or why.
There's no culvert there now?
The culvert is in the woods off on one side of the trail.
Oh, so there's evidence that there was a culvert then?
It's still there.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know if it was because it was rusted out and, or water was going under it, or, I don't know why it was removed. I don't know the history
Oh, gotcha.
of it.
Is that something the Snow Machine Association would have been working on?
I have no idea.
The upper reaches of the trail have a lot of seeps and wetlands and muck all the time. And I just repeat what I think everybody knows, is that the walkers walked it and said, that was fun. We never want to go back. I think Matt said on behalf of the bikers, we have no interest in it. I've never heard of a horseback rider expressing an interest.
Well, but I would say in its current state is why like all of these are, or is not of interest. I think this is to Peter's question about like the crossroad, for instance, would work they could be made more passable without a doubt. It's just a question of whether we want to do that and have a plan for doing it.
Well, maybe we need to employ Sean and his company or organization to give an analysis of all of them. And because like with Baptist Hill, if we can do a little bit of work to save it from getting worse. And the same with Crossroad, maybe we need to have that a priority as well. I mean, prioritize everything that needs to be done.
On the crossroad, rerouting of the trail is sort of the obvious solution, as usually on Orchard Road Trail.
Yeah. But even on the Crossroad, not too many years ago, the lower portion, I could drive with a tractor easily, and now you can't.
Yeah.
And so it over the last 10 years or less, it's gotten really bad.
I mean, I think like those roads could be fixed. It's just you have to invest money in fixing them.
Yeah.
As I've said, like, you know, the road by my parents' house, up Ordway Road, that used to be completely impassable. I
Right.
mean, Brent had torn it to hell. And when they logged, they put in a couple of drainage ditches and a few water bars, and it's now better than a lot of the class 3 roads around here. So it's just a question of whether we want to invest the money to fix
Right.
it. I don't know enough about Baptist Hill, but I suspect the same is true with Baptist Hill. If you put in enough drainage, you can make it, I mean, people used it for
Right.
hundreds of years.
That's the problem. They created an incised road that's now.
But
Right.
I mean, you look at any number, like, look at Dee Hill Road, you know, one big event wipes it out.
Yeah.
You can fix, you know, you can put it back into the
Yeah.
same state. It's just you want to build it so that it'll last. So
Right.
it's just a question of whether we think we should do it and where the money comes from. And I think, you know, we probably find other sources for money potentially to do the work if it were of interest in doing the work. I mean, personally, I think the Crossroad is a great road. It'd be nice if it were passable.
But also you might work with my sister, we might work with
Yeah,
my sister
no,
and
exactly.
get an alternate and make it so it's at least a walking trail.
Yeah.
So I guess my point is if everybody's in agreement, we can hire Sean and his organization to get an analysis of that. Or of all the roads, all the legal trails, and just see what they think about it. What the bare minimum is to get them at least usable.
But I don't know if it's the trails committee or, some sort of community discussion, but also. I assume there's probably a different strategy if you look at something like Baptist Hill and you think this what does it take to make this a trail, whether it's a snowmobile trail or a walking trail, as opposed to, say, what Tom Wells was doing? And that road, right, the sort of, you know, a byway for vehicles, and so they're all sort of different as far as the money it would take to maybe make them that way, and so, right, I think that's a good idea.
I mean, I think for like Baptist Hill, if you think about it as like part of a Tunbridge walking trail network, it would be sort of nice to be able to do the loop of Baptist Hill, Orchard Road, Moody Road. I mean, I guess you have to walk on the,
Twice.
yeah, and Stratford Road a little bit, but yeah, maybe you could go through the cemetery or something, but that would be sort of a nice loop to be able
But
to.
again, it's a matter of what uses we're thinking about, what it would take to maintain it for that. I think, you know, Baptist Hill is perfectly usable for skiing and snowshoeing. But to make it usable for summer uses is gonna always be tricky. It's a lot of water. And basically, as John said, it's a sunken road and the water seeps directly out of the hillside there. So it's coming in off, draining off that hillside right at the level of the road and trying to get into the stream.
Right.
So water is gonna continue to be a large issue on that road.
But my point is that maybe we need to fix just that one spot you're talking about and not worry about the rest of the road right now. Fix this one spot so it doesn't get worse.
Or if we install small water bars in the places that
Right,
are going to cause more erosion.
Right.
And I'm not sure I don't really actually see, it's not running the way it is starting on that section of Orchard.
yeah.
So it's not the same issues, it's coming across, it's sheeting across the road.
right. But even if we fix it but don't use it, at least it's not getting worse.
Right. Agreed.
So one comment on three of the, to put Baptist Hill aside, three of the legal trails is I think they are all have the capability of being used as was originally in the town plan before it got changed at the last minute, for non-motorized use. And that would include wheeled vehicles, whether they're, bicycles or whether they're wheelchairs or whether there's a woman pushing or a dad pushing their baby on one of those jogging strollers. I don't think the damage from a tire as opposed to walking is really that big a difference. And I think that we should not lose track of that because that was the traditional uses of the legal trails well before the challenge came from John here about bicycles in particular. And just to clarify, if you read the Supreme Court decision that came back down to the Supreme Court, and I don't believe I think there are more motions due by December 8th or November 8th, that the Supreme Court is under the impression that there was not any other non-motorized uses before this lawsuit was engaged, and that is incorrect. So I think the goal for the public should be beyond just walking only to get these trails ready when the maintenance happens, just to extend that.
All right, thanks, Todd.
And I think it is important to have an entity like the Trails Alliance be doing the analysis of the trails and not a volunteer that really has no experience with.
No, I think it makes a difference.
You know, Sean then could at least have a plan to sort of at least stabilize them so that they don't continue to deteriorate.
I'll look forward to the report next meeting, if you can get it.
Get Sue. No,
Maureen, is Sue there?
Yes,
All right, would Sue like to give a report on the Falls Hill Trail?
sure. Yeah, different computer seems to be working. So we walked the Falls Hill Trail last week or 4 days ago. It's dry. The the water bars are intact and the trail signs are still up. And it's, it's perfect for walking.
Condition?
Condition. The condition is perfect, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
It's very dry.
Thank you.
Correct, the reason why it's restricted to cycling.
I don't know. Now clarify, Rudy, is Sue in charge of saying whether it's just walking or cycling, or is it a higher power like you?
Wow. I'm not sure I am. I think ultimately, it is a select board decision. I think my understanding was that the trail stewards would make recommendations and say what the conditions of the trail.
Well, she said excellent, so I guess I would, if I had to just say it real quick, would qualify as okay for bicycles.
I personally don't see any reason that there couldn't be bikes on there.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we could ask her if that's a recommendation to.
Okay, Sue, are you still there?
Yes,
We're debating whether to allow bicycles on Falls Hill Trail now. You said it's in excellent condition. Would you say it's okay for cycles?
well, I think that's your decision. It is dry and, it's 3/10 of a mile, so you guys have to make the decision whether bicycles are allowed.
Okay,
But the condition could support bicycles. Is that correct?
For the 3/10 of a mile, yes.
I saw somebody, this is just a side note, I saw somebody up at the top of Monarch Hill, and they've been paddling slowly up from Route 110. And I said, boy, it's a long hill, isn't it? They said, yeah, but the other side is all down, so I guess if they went up to the top of Falls Hill, they could just turn around and come back down.
Yeah.
Seems maybe as a courtesy, the Hemingways, probably didn't think that this was coming up at this meeting. I don't know exactly what their engagement is at this point, but some advance notice to them and their opinions might be. This is a courtesy to, before taking action, it seems.
So never know.
It seems to me that unless there's a reason why the road cannot support a certain activity, that the activity should be allowed.
And we are at the end of, nearing the end of active season.
Yeah.
And it was always allowed before, there's no reason why it should have been.
Well, the issue with that trail has always been, it's not, public use has not been limited to 3/10, and that's been the nut that the Hemingways have been trying to solve with the town so far unsuccessfully. So,
What do you wanna do, fellas? I can't make motions.
I make a motion, we allow bikes on
Non-motorized vehicles.
non-motorized vehicles. That include horses.
Did they use it recently?
I don't think they did. They went up Ordway Road. I don't think they went.
Yeah, my brother said he had to open the fence.
Yeah, no, that's right, he did, yeah. And then they went over to Monarch, I think.
Rudy, how often do the stewards check on the trails too?
I think that varies. I don't think there's any set schedule that we've prescribed at all. I think I was every week or at least once every week or two through the summer. And I was mostly keen to when the dry spells were, so I could see how much water was still moving.
You were devoted.
What's that?
You were devoted. You do it that often.
It's a nice walk.
Yeah, it sure is.
So I would second the motion if we can somehow tie, Sue following the, it's
Monitor.
condition, right,
Yeah.
as we move towards stick season.
Okay. All right, there's been a motion made to allow non-motorized vehicles on Falls Hill Eagle Trail and seconded, as long as Sue will monitor. I don't know, his office,
Trail condition.
trail conditions.
You want verification? Yes.
All right, Sue says yes. All in favor, say yes, or aye. Aye. Unanimous.
So the Trails Committee will be directed to change its signage on that.
All right, can you,
Thank you.
do you know how to get hold of, I can't think of her name, Hemingway,
Sarah,
Sarah? And just send her an email saying that that's what we've done,
Sure.
just so she's not blindsided. Do you, Sarah, Matt?
Yep.
Do you know how they're doing? I mean, are they okay?
yeah, no, they're doing well.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think they cleaned out the house a few weeks ago. Yeah, they're doing okay.
okay. Good.
And it's, I mean, are the children now,
The
does
owner,
the estate own it?
it's,
or-
I mean, I think even
It's-
now, it's an
it's an
LLC, so
LLC, yeah.
I think that they had. I mean, I guess Cal could have owned the LLC, but it's an LLC, that parcel, and then they also went on Ordway Road.
All right, I think we've got a plan for the future. We'll we'll be here for Sean's brief report or a report next meeting, and hopefully we'll carry on from there.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sue. Thanks, John. Let's do a group policy.
So- That's me, thank you. In your packet, made a little policy. So.
No, you're fine. No, there, I just.
Well, I think, Sue, you need to write to them because this was misconstrued.
So we always get a bunch of people
I
in,
saw them out here.
yes, and it's multiple times a week for 6 weeks, yeah, multiple times a
Mostly
week.
foliage.
Mostly foliage, sometime in the spring,
Bus tour.
bus tours mostly 50 to 75 people coming through. And there's,
Stop here,
because we have Hiram's
okay,
birth certificate, we have the
Okay.
marriage,
parents,
John and
just wondered.
Mary, I think. So,
So just describe what happens during those tours.
so they call and they say, hi, can we come in on Sunday at 2? And I say, no, thank you. You can come in like,
During business hours.
right, so first off, it's often outside of business hours, weekends, days we're not open, outside of posted hours. So I wanna be really concrete that if you're gonna come in with a tour group, you need to come in during posted business. They come in, somebody, I'll get like the book out and we have a couple like informational things that I lay out. And normally their tour guide will show them, they all funnel through, it clogs up the hallway, it clogs up the office, like if I have a researcher in there, they can hardly do anything. I can
Where
answer
do
the phone.
75 people fit?
Right, they don't, so they just line up out the door into the hall. And they all are taking pictures and touching it, and it sometimes can take up to an hour, and they split the groups, and half are at the store and half are here, and nobody says like, oh, you know, we're done or whatever, like it just is very discombobulated and takes a long time, and they say thanks, and then they leave. And I was just thinking more about it, that, you know, it makes it inconvenient for the people who are here doing research and who are paying to use the vault and paying to make copies. 75 people come through and take pictures of this old document, nobody pays $1 for it. And as same as well
You know,
for,
archivally too, if that's.
yeah, I don't know if it's good for it. And same for, just the time that they're in here, you know, sometimes it's up to an hour. We charge people to use the vault and to take pictures and all of that. So I was just thinking if we kind of had a policy set in place starting in, you know, January 1, and then we can email it to all these groups and just say, you know, if you're coming in, you have an allotted time, you need to be there. They always just give an estimate. Oh, they'll be around. I'm like, well, that's not helpful if I know other people are coming in. And I think we should just charge a tour group fee. I don't think we should allow photographs of it. I can go through and take one copy of it and kind of like, you know, I could put all 3 different things onto one piece of paper. If they want to purchase that, it's $1, just like for anybody else. But I just
Are
think
they
that
all in sort of archival, you know,
they're just in like plastic sheets
That's
that,
it.
yeah. And so I just feel that there's a better way to do this and that they never did, so they, you know, we've just continued that forward, but that we should be getting some money if we're gonna have, you know, 75 people come through for an hour.
It seems like that's a real thing now, whereas 50 years ago, it wasn't a real thing.
Right.
For,
Right, and
or 10 years ago.
you know, and those people are paying, I've looked up these tour groups, those people are paying $2,300 per person to go, so like you guys have $50 to pay the town of Tunbridge to come in.
Becoming a museum for an hour.
Exactly.
Museums charge money.
Right, so I just thought, you know, this is kind of like a rough draft, we can edit it to, you know, say whatever we want, but this was kind of just my jot down
Right.
thought and wanted to gauge what you thought about a tour guide policy.
You get in touch with the historical society, Vermont Historical Society or somebody at some point too, and just say like, what's. You know, a document like this that's getting handled or photographed, you know, sometimes with flashes,
Yeah,
what should we do, you know, is
Yeah.
there some sort of. Special archival envelopes, you know, that are. Really sturdy.
Special gloves.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
exactly.
yeah,
I mean, that's what they do in
Because,
fancy places.
well,
Antique road show or something.
but this is already. Seeing so much more traffic, and it's not like we all get to go and hold the Declaration of Independence. in our
Right,
hands.
right.
If you had $2 million, you could have bought that.
Yeah, the Constitution.
and I'm all about, you know, obviously, like, they have a right to come in, they have a right to see it, that's fine. I just think it needs to be a little bit more structured and less just that they expect that because they wanna come Sunday at 2, that they're gonna be able to, so.
Or the amount of access they're getting to.
Exactly. And that's my thoughts.
I think it's not a bad thing. Cause like you said, John, they have to pay to get into a museum or something,
For
and
sure.
that's what they're.
Yeah.
They're looking at museum type stuff.
Right.
I make a motion, we adopt this policy. And we'll put it in place January 1st, 2025.
And we can edit this, right?
Yeah, we can,
It's a policy.
yeah, yeah.
And amendments.
One
I
second
second
that.
that.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 I'd like to do a brief, very brief report from the Conservation Commission before I leave.
Yeah.
We had a river cleanup on October
Oh, yeah.
6th, and 12 volunteers, all from Tunbridge, with a couple of new people in town that we hadn't met. So that was good outreach, and 44 tires we pulled out of between the 110 bridge to Baxter's.
44 times. Huh. Now, did they, I'm always curious, did they appear to be like really old tires, or were they newer tires?
I think I think they've been there.
Yeah.
I think it was a failed attempt to hold the riverbank. I don't think it's tires being dumped.
No. Huh.
Cause there are just a couple sections that have a lot of tires and they keep getting uncovered,
Right.
so we'll be back
Yeah.
to pick up more, but
Yeah.
just
You went
that,
up to Larkin Bridge too?
we never got up there because we had so much, and I don't think there's as big of a problem with it. I just thought we'd like to have a good participation for
Yep.
volunteers and including Rudy that came with his own dream, so we could run tires into his.
That's a good idea.
And they made it to the transfer station.
And then we took 2 truck loads, actually 3 trucks of tires. And,
Come down to the Royal Himalayan and
County road.
and, Craig Armstrong helped us with his winch, with Jeep and his winch,
Really?
fill him out, and Baxter was helping as well.
good.
So it was a nice mix of Tunbridge residents to help with that project. We'll do it again next year.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
That's.
Says other business, transfer station hazard waste plan.
So Sharon, who works for Central Vermont Solid Waste Management District, and Alexandra, who heads up like the hazardous waste day, emailed and said that they were thinking about a new idea that during the household hazardous waste day, the transfer station itself is chaotic because people are also coming to drop off just regular waste. And so they're looking to see if they can set up their own 30-yard temporary roll-off at the town garage that day. They would have all the signage, they would just move their people up there, that's where they would do the hazardous waste day.
That's a good idea.
And so they just wanted,
Exit through the transfer station.
Right.
Too.
so they just wanted to know if you guys had any thoughts that would limit them being able to use that, and I said, I didn't think so, but I would let you know.
No, I think it's great.
Rodney's.
Okay.
Yes, there's plenty of room on Saturday, so.
Okay, you have in your packet, from Ryan Palmer, the rate that will be for the 25-26 fiscal year. So currently, we're billed at 65, 25-26 fiscal year rate will be 78.
Yeah, yikes.
Did we budget this year
40,000,
40?
right?
Plus the
Well,
10, wasn't it?
Yeah,
No, not plus, was it plus 10?
it was plus the 10 we had,
50, wasn't it?
yeah,
Oh, okay,
so when we budgeted 40, but plus the 10, so the total is 50.
okay.
We'll lose a certain number of hours.
If we stay the same, yeah.
If we stay the same.
How much less are we gonna get, just the numbers guide? Son of Floyd.
Well, I asked Sheriff Palmer if we could use Jackson for the Hunt Trail. I guess that we would just use regular average hours and that was okay.
What for? Security?
They're just, yeah, just to make sure, because it takes a little while.
Oh, really?
We have 500 people.
A little wild.
You have 500 people up there?
The last time we had 1,000.
Oh, you serious?
Really?
Wow.
That first year we did it, yeah.
Holy crap.
I won't
Hopefully good
go.
weather.
It's spooky.
Right. Well, that was cool.
Right, but it's not just the
Really
rain.
not very nice.
Huh, maybe I'll come up, it's gonna be wild,
Is there any drinking or partying or anything?
that's why it gets wild.
That's how we did it. The county sheriff there, just to watch people in here.
I might come up Saturday night after chores.
Date night. Gary date night.
We lose 128 hours.
Wow.
But that's 10 hours a week, then.
I did it, right? I think I did it, right? Yeah. How many hours a week we get now? That seems like a lot.
I think it was 14 or 15. That doesn't seem right.
I don't.
I don't think,
right.
yeah, that's not-
I was losing most of it. Pretty soon,
That's okay.
15
Every
hours.
day I check the math on that.
So we got 50,000.
An hour.
Yeah, divided by 65. Is 769.23.
Right.
And if it's divided by 78, it's 641.
those.
Seems like an awful lot, but that's an awful difference in money.
It sure is.
$13 an hour.
Well, I guess we could also, I hate to do it, we could also bump up to 55,000 or something and kind of split the
Or,
difference.
Yeah.
or 60, yeah.
Right,
No. Sure, he's just trying to cover their growth,
Yeah,
right, right.
but they're even doing the courts now, right, Orange County?
Yeah, they're doing Orange County now. Have you read, I saw something posted on Facebook about an Orange County sheriff being,
Rumors that there's one?
no, we'll talk about it later.
Okay.
We'll talk about it off
Same
air.
hours.
Yep. So $10,000 more. Wow.
Yeah.
So have you heard John or Mike anecdotally, whether people are happy with Windsor County or?
I ain't heard a word, so I think that's good.
Yeah,
I see them they're constantly pulling people over out here. Me and Devin are like watching TV and we're like, oh,
Who's in
Dad's got
there?
another one.
that's why I stop at my house.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of state troopers around,
Right,
yeah. They must be
Um,
looking for somebody, like one day.
Got a new one.
2 or 3.
Well, the Randolph works nights. And he's been stopping in the shop and I said, what do you?
State trooper.
I missed my Tunbridge meeting.
What? Oh,
They're meeting, but I missed the topic that I needed. Not your fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
anyway,
Recorded at all.
There it is, recorded, so in about 10 minutes you can watch.
Before you leave?
I can email you the link.
thank you for your.
Thanks for your, like, coming back.
So I asked him how. He decides what to do, does he go in, maybe a list of things?
Yeah.
People to arrest, or what do you do? And he said the older troopers. Ride around until they get called.
Mhm.
But he tries to go to every town in his area.
Hmm.
And. Stop somebody or do something to make a present.
Yeah.
That's what he feels
And
he should be doing.
is he looking rookie, I mean, young fella?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
So they have some flexibility,
Yeah,
their style, like.
because I said, how do you know what you're gonna do? And he said, well, if there's no, immediate call. Then he just rides around, he has Tunbridge, Chelsea, Braintree.
Right.
And he tries to stop or make a presence known in every town.
Yeah.
So, but of course,
So
he
he
gets
can be
called
proactive
somewhere.
then, right?
Yeah. Of course, he gets called somewhere, where he goes, but
I have 2 more things for you.
Start with number 1.
Can we approve the liquor license for the Tunbridge General Store?
I don't see why not.
won't be my own.
And then, I have an estimate from Isaac to remove a fallen maple limb at the Dickerman Road Cemetery for $800.
I see that. If they didn't have, sir,
Who put, somebody marked the trees at the transfer station.
Was it Adam?
No, he said,
was him,
no, I don't think so.
Well, maybe Isaac did, because I think we had asked him a while ago.
I reminded Isaac
Yeah.
that he had,
It
Give us an
it
estimate.
seemed like it was Isaac, but.
and I saw Katie. Barnaby at the
Okay.
store one day, and I said, would you give us permission to cut the trees? And she
Right,
said she'd have to talk to Randy, and I haven't seen Katie since, so. Because it seemed, I haven't actually stopped and looked closely, but it seemed like if we could work on their side and follow the trees over that way, it'd be much better.
All right, I'm gonna log out of here and then I'm gonna email you the link, Darren, to this Zoom meeting, so you can hear it.
Very exciting.
Yes.